Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel GS DevOps. Okay, today we will develop a application which will consume Kafka service, producer and consumer, and web API we will create on .NET Core version 8. And top of that, we will also use WebSocket to produce the live messages on a web, like on a HTML page using JavaScript. So let's get started. First of all, download Kafka. First link is Apache Kafka. Go to that and download Kafka. Click on it. So on the time of the recording, I am having 3.6.1 version. Please go to the Scala 2.12 Kafka. Click on it and download the. It will download the zip file in tgz file format. I have already downloaded it. So let's go and unzip it. Extract to Kafka. Okay, now go to the folder. Okay, now these are the files and folders in the Kafka directory. We need to edit two files. One is for Zookeeper and the other one is for the server. So let's go to the server file and we need to give a path first. Create a folder of logs and copy the URL. Search for the logs and paste it here. Change the path. Okay, now just copy this, save it and close it. And the other file we need to change or edit is Zookeeper. Okay, done. Now we need to start Kafka server. Let's go to the main directory and write cmd in the address bar and command write bin windows and keeper server start.bat. Now we need to provide the file property files of Zookeeper, which we just added. It is in config folder and the name is follow as dot properties. And one more thing, just name it as Zookeeper for the convenience. Okay, hit enter and it will start the Zookeeper. Okay, great. Now again go to the address bar, type cmd, and this one will be used for the Kafka server. The command for to start the Kafka server is bin windows Kafka server dot start dot bash file, and then we need to provide the file, sorry, which we just added, server dot properties. Hit enter. Okay, now we have both running Kafka server and the zookeeper. Okay, just let me tell you a brief detail about the Kafka and the zookeeper. Well, Kafka is mainly used for live streaming data, like if you have a streaming data, any application which you need to produce the messages live in a live span. So it will there are too many servers and application which will provide you the functionality, but Kafka will also use for burst uh, response first of all, and it will tackle a millions of topics and messages. So it's developed on Java and Scala, and the zookeeper is mainly the distributed coordination service that provides a set of primitive for building distributed system, and its main purpose is to help manage distribute process in a reliable and coordinated manner. Okay, so we have our Kafka server up and running. Now let's create a .NET Core application, and in which we will write some services for Kafka consumer and Kafka producer. So let's do it. First of all, go to the URL and type cmd. It will open the command line. Now first of all, check the .NET version. I have 8.0. Now by the following command we will create a web API, .NET new web API for the n Kafka web API. Press return and wait for the moment, and it will succeed. Okay, let's go to the folder Kafka web API, type port followed by period, and it will open the code. Now we have a boilerplate as well, like we have some app setting for development environment, app setting for the production, and a C# project file and a solution file if you want to open this project in the Visual Studio, and one HTTP link file and a program file. Okay, first of all we need to do some changes. We do not need these profiles. I don't want to initialize 5212 port. I want it to be 5000. We don't want to launch the browser at the start of the application, so we will do it at false. I don't need Swagger. We will use Postman API. Okay, let's go to the program file, and I don't need this, and let's comment that this is the web API for weather forecast, so I don't need this, certainly don't need this. Okay, now let's check if our application is up and running smoothly. Just type .NET run. Great, our application is smooth and up and running. Let's shut down it and create our uh, services for the consumer and producer. First of all, create a folder name by service, and let's create a C# class for Kafka producer service. Okay, let's create a constructor. Okay, first of all, we need to provide some configuration. Configuration config, but we need to provide the Kafka bootstrap server address and the topic. So we will type Kafka followed by parentheses, and we will write here bootstrap servers, and in the server properties file you can find your server name there. I have renamed it as slab, which is my system name, and the port is, which is a default port, which is 9092. So next we will define the topic. And the topic will be anything, like we can say personal topic. It's just a name. Okay, let's go to the Kafka producer service now. Var config, and we will provide some configuration like new producer config. Now the problem is we need to, it's not a problem, we need to install a library named confluent.kafka. Okay, so let's go to the NuGet library. Okay, this is the service we want to install it, and one more we need is WebSocket. So type WebSocket and we need system.net.websockets by Microsoft. Install it as well. Okay, great. Now we will have a library. Now we will define some configuration. Which is okay for our bootstrap server. We will provide configuration in which we will define where to find the bootstrap server's name, go to the Kafka colon followed by bootstrap servers, which is that one. Now the second one is producer sir and and it's new producer builder, and we will provide first null argument, then string, and provide the config, which is that one, so where he will get the bootstrap servers, and then dot build. Next we will do topic, and topic will be configuration and followed by Kafka colon topic. Now create a field for these two, the private field, which will be private read only, and I producer followed by the parameters as null and string with producer. And oh wait, I have pasted that out of the class. Now here it is. Okay, second thing we will do, great, we don't need these. Okay, now second private read only string for the topic. Okay, fantastic. Now we have these. Okay, what is problem? Public class, it's a constructor. Okay, and we need to rename this. Oh sorry, we need to rename this topic configuration as Kafka topic. Now let's create a void method for producer message, and it will take the and it will take the argument as string message, and then we will create a variable Kafka message new message. Okay, message followed by the parameters null and string with the value of message. Now producer dot produce topic and Kafka message with delivery report delivery delivery report and delivery report going to be as console dot write line followed by the $sign and message delivered to delivery report dot I guess I have misspelled it dot topic partition offset, that one, and place terminator. Now one more thing is when we send the message, we need to dispose of the arguments. So let's create another method. Void dispose okay producer dot flush and the time span dot from seconds, and it will be 10 seconds. Then producer dot dispose of, and as our producer service is in place, now we will create an other service for configuration topic what is the problem bootstrap servers to subservice. Okay, topic must contain a non-null. Okay, let's create our other service, which is .NET. Sorry, my bad. It is Kafka consumer service. Okay, we are getting a nullable warning here, so go to the C# profile and disable that null level. Now you'll see our warning is gone away. Okay, let's create our consumer service. Okay, let's just format things a little bit for the ease. Now for the consumer, we will need to inherent with I disposable, and for that, why we need I disposable? Because when the message is consumed, we need to dispose of. So first of all, create a constructor, or constructor, and call I configuration, call it configuration, and then for Kafka config to configuration dot get section, and we can have that in Kafka, and get Kafka configuration. Okay, now var config is equals to new consumer config consumer config, and I guess we are missing this service here. Okay, okay. So consumer config, first we will provide bootstrap. Okay, I guess we are missing the using statement, and here we go. Okay, and we are also missing the Okay, we need to create a class for Kafka configuration that file. Let's create another folder called entity and create a C# class named Kafka configuration, and here we have two properties. One is for the both are will be this string. One is for bootstrap servers and the other one will be topic. Okay, great. Now we will provide Kafka config dot bootstrap server comma I guess group ID, which will be use Kafka config dot topic comma, then we will use auto offset reset is equals to auto offset reset dot earliest, then enable auto commit as false. Now that's all in place. Now create consumer, but first we will need to create a read-only field for that, and we need to define it as I consume consumer, and we will have two parameter string and now we can use our consumer as new consumer build, provide the two parameter as string, provide the config dot set value deserialize, so we need to set value deserializer and provide deserializer dot utf-8 and at the end build and done. Now consumer subscribe to Kafka config dot topic. Okay, now we need to dispose of the our consumer. Once it's consumed, I consumer followed by string comma string with get consumer and followed by the consumer. Now create a void method to dispose consumer. It could be null dispose. So now our consumer service is in place. We need to define a middleware for the WebSocket and Kafka configuration. So let's create another folder name middleware. Okay, in middleware we will need to create a C# class for the middleware service and call it web socket middleware. Let's do some formatting first. Okay, now create a constructor and in the constructor first of all define the request delegate and call it next, and then define Kafka consumer service which we just created and call it Kafka consumer service. Create kick to Visual Studio Code. Okay, now that in place, we will create a async task for invoke method. So we will use the WebSocket and check that if it is coming from the request is coming from the WebSocket, then it will entertain as a WebSocket. Otherwise, it will pass on the request. So good call. Okay, public async task with invoke and check the HTTP context. Now check if the request is coming from the web socket. Check WebSocket and then is WebSocket request. Now check socket is equals to await context dot WebSockets dot accept WebSocket async await handle web web socket and socket trying to generate a method. Okay, private async. Now we will create a try catch method for that. Now try war Kafka consumer. This is the variable and it will be used as Kafka consumer service dot get consumer. Now create a loop, and in the loop we will check socket dot state is equals to WebSocket state dot open. If the state WebSocket is open, then we will do war Kafka result is equals to Kafka consumer dot consume, and after that we will check if Kafka result is not null, then Kafka message is equals to Kafka result dot message dot value, then var buffer is equals to encoding dot utf8 dot get bytes and define Kafka message, then await and socket dot send async new array segment, define byte buffer followed by 0 followed by buffer length and then define WebSocket message type as text and true, and cancellation token is none. Okay, now finally finally we will get the consumer unsubscribe. Kafka consumer service dot get consumer dot unsubscribe, and that is our middleware for the WebSocket and Kafka integration. So first of all, this is our argument, this is our end password, and we will add builder dot service as singleton, add singleton, and add our Kafka producer service. Now copy and paste it and change the Kafka consumer service as Kafka producer as a Kafka consumer service. Now that in place, we need to define a HTTP context accessor. So for that, builder dot services dot add HTTP context accessor, and now we will add the WebSocket service as a singleton, add singleton, define function along with task and along with WebSocket. Now provider followed by the lambda expression and var accessor is equals to provider dot get required service, and it's gonna be interface is HTTP, so HTTP context accessor, and then we will define var context is equals to accessor dot HTTP context, and then return to context dot WebSockets dot accept WebSocket async. We will need to add controller to entertain our request, so we will also add controller service, add controllers, and after that for building we need to call the course as well, because we need to use our application in the web application, and the web application will be running on the other server service. So use course and sorry, builder followed by builder dot allow origin, then allow any okay, my mistake. Yes, allow any header, or you can say method first, then allow any header, and that's it. Now we are not going to use HTTPS redirection. Now use WebSocket. So app dot use WebSockets, and we will add our middleware which we have created for the Kafka service and WebSockets. Use middleware web socket middleware, and at the end we will map controllers, and that's it. Now we have our entity in place, our WebSocket middleware in place, our consumer and producer service in place, our program file in place. Now we will create a folder for controller, and we will create a controller, web API controller, and call it Kafka controller. Sorry. Okay. So we will remove which is not necessary. Okay, now we will define two methods. One is post. We will define the method for the post of producer. So first of all, create a constructor, CTOR constructor, and the parameter will be Kafka producer service. Call it Kafka producer. Initialize field from parameter, and then create a HTTP post request. Call it producer, and now create a I action result, name it producer to Kafka, and because we are going to take the requests from body, if we can it's up to you. If you don't want to mention that here, it will tackle because of we have add the API controller. So but for the clarification I am adding it. String message. Now use Kafka service dot produce message and send the message, and then return OK and type message send to Kafka, and it's done. So let's start our application and check if we have any error. So let's start the application. Now it looks good. Go to the server, Postman, and create a API request followed by this URL which we have defined, localhost 5000 API Kafka producer. It will hit our controller and the request should be post request. In the body, go to the raw JSON and type a message. This is my first message to Kafka, and send the request, and it's done. The request has been sent to the Kafka server. We should see the response message sent to the Kafka user. Okay, okay? I think we have a type in the URL. It's producer, and we have type produce. Okay, so our producer. Now send request one more time, and we got nothing. I think we have missed something, which is not working well. The Kafka producer service is looking good, and it worked. Okay, we haven't invoked the next dot invoke context, and done. Let's restart the server so it pick up the invoke. Okay, let's go to the postman request, and we should see. Okay, here we go. Now our message is sent to the Kafka server, and we have a response that our personal topic has a message. Okay, now we need to see this message on a web page. So let's create another folder called w root, create a html page index.html. Okay, now this is the boilerplate of html. Now what we will do, call it Kafka consumer, and in body we just need a div and with id of Kafka. I will call it data, Kafka data. Now we need a script, and for that we will use jQuery script, but we need a jQuery first, and just type jQuery cdn, and we will use uncompressed. Copy that. We need to embed the script here. Now we have a jQuery link in our web HTML. Now we should we can initiate the DOM document dot ready and function. For that we will use WebSocket, and the process of calling the WebSocket is little bit different. uh, it is not a HTTPS request. So first of all we will initiate the WebSocket socket equals to new WebSocket and provide the URL which we have here, but this is producer. We will use a consumer here because we have defined that in our middleware. Or we will use consumer service here using the WebSocket. Okay, let's go to the HTML page. Just follow along the WebSocket colon backslash localhost 5000 API Kafka and Zoom. Now socket, when the connection is open, then we will call one open, and let's issue a function, and in the function we will console. First of all we will console log that web socket connection is open. Now after that socket dot one message equals to function, and we will use event parameter, and then we will constant Kafka message with event dot data, then console dot log receive Kafka message, and it will be Kafka message. Then we will use jQuery to embed our Kafka message to the div, and we can use paragraph follow along with our Kafka message. Close the paragraph tag, and after that we will use our socket on message. If the event is after that, we will check socket on close is equals to function event, and after that we will console dot log, and in log web socket closed, and follow along with the event. And after that, if something goes wrong, then socket dot on error, and call the function event console dot log, and then web socket error, and then event. Okay, then now I have a live server in my VS Code. I will use that to initiate my HTML page. I click on go live and wait for the moment. Okay, now we have two messages in our Kafka. Now we go to the and now we'll see. We can little bit close this so we can type our message easily. Okay, so this is my second message to Kafka, and when I press return, here we go. As soon as I post the message, it will show up there, and it is using Kafka server. If I try one more time with something else like .NET, it is go and send it, and here we go. Simultaneously we will see the message as on its post. So thank you guys, that's all. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe and like the video if you learned something from this video.